Alrighty, and we should be live now. Looks good, looks good. Alright. So, day 2 of working on the custodies. And as the title of the stream suggests, we're going to be painting black. I've changed the plan a little bit of what I'm going to do. I actually have, over to the side here, the entire army. I'm just going to try and go through and smash out single colours at a time till everything's base coated. I have gone through with all of them and painted the Stegodon scale green on the weapons. So today, I got that done this morning. So today for the stream, I'm going to start blocking in black wherever it should be on any of the models. Hopefully without forgetting any parts. Some of them are going to be a pain in the backside to get to, like the black pipes on the front of the chest of the bikes. But we're going to try and get through anyway. Other parts I'll have to swap to a smaller brush, just to try and be as neat as I can. I don't want to be having to touch up the gold too much. And I did grab an extra pot of Abaddon Black out of the garage for when I need it. And of course I'm getting all the freaking notifications again. Every time I start a stream, it's like everyone wants to email me and message me right then and there. I did also look up some reference photos on the GW website to try and see what should be what. So for these guys, I don't know how much of it I'm going to get done today, but basically all of this lance should be black. Some of the piping is silver. The one at the bottom, I don't actually know what colour it's supposed to be. I didn't pay that much attention. Dog hair. So just, I'm going to try and block stuff through. I did find out last night after stream that I've got jury duty in like 3 weeks. So I've got to get everything painted before then. So that's going to add a bit more crunch to the time frame. That's why I've sort of had to change plans a little. I don't think they'd appreciate me trying to paint and live stream in court. Pretty sure there's some strict rules about that sort of stuff. I'm also not sure if I'll be able to live stream on Wednesday because my daughter's just started school. She's in grade prep, which is her first year. For the first 5 or 6 weeks, they her class has the day off, just so they can slowly adjust to the sort of schedule they're going to be doing, and then after that, she'll be in every day, well, every weekday. On weekends, I won't be streaming because with all of the kids in the house, it's near impossible. Even now without the kids, like the sound of the air conditioner coming through on stream is annoying. Yeah. Make sure I hold everything in view. So having all the kids in the house means that I won't be streaming for the moment. I do have the other computer set up in the garage. I think I've mentioned that yesterday. But for the moment, all of my painting stuff is inside. Until I organise a new desk for inside. Because my plan is to take this desk into the garage and set up my paint station there. It's already permanently set up here, but at least out there it'll be away from the kids, away from the noise a little bit. I might even be able to do some streams after the kids go to bed then, because it won't be so noisy. With any luck, the kids will stop fighting and arguing and go to bed when they're asked to. I don't hold high hopes. There's a couple of spots on here that I notice now that I haven't entirely primed properly. But that's not much of an issue because it's around the engine, which is going to be going silver. And yeah, I know a lot of people don't like the salvo launchers on these bikes as a weapon option, but the 6 bikes that I have for Virtus Praetor squads all have the salvo launcher because it's the only dedicated anti-tank ranged weapon I have. I do have axes on the Wardens, but the Wardens aren't in this list. I also have an axe on the Captain and the Vexillus. You've still got to get them into melee to use it, so having something that can attack at range, I figured that'd be a benefit. And when I inevitably expand to I shouldn't be touching the spear. When I inevitably expand the army and add another 6-man unit, I can then look at doing the hurricane bolters. Gently. How is there? Well, there's touch-up spots there. But I'm going to have to come back with another coat anyway. So I think that's all of the black that's on these bikes. I can't see any armor joints where it would be black. Oh, of course. The dash. All of the controls. This should all be black. Now, I did do a double check when I was looking at reference photos, and the knuckles on their gauntlets are indeed gems. So I'll have to fix that up on the 2 that are nearly done. Keep that in mind when I'm doing all of the other ones. Next bike. So we're finishing up around 2:30 today, by the way. So that's time 50 minutes from now, roughly. Because I've got to go pick kids up from school and take them to swimming lessons. The Baden Black doesn't coat the best over the airbrush base layer, but the second coat should come out a lot better. I'm pretty close to done. I know a lot of people have gone to using the just straight using the Black Legion contrast paint for all their blacks. I still don't think I bought it. But I also put it on pretty thin, the Baden Black, so I shouldn't get any real issues with clogging up detail. I can see though doing this way is going to be annoying, but at least I'll be productive and get all the work done. I hate batch painting, but give it its 20 models, well technically 21 models, but one of them is nearly finished. It won't be as bad as the time that I tried to batch paint 60 Necron Warriors and then decided screw it. Was it 60? No, I finished 60. There was 120 to start with, because it was 3 20 warrior squads with the Gorse Reaper and 3 lots of 20 with the Gorse Flayer. That was an exercise I'm not keen to continue, and I still haven't finished the shoulders on the ones with the Gorse Reaper. The Gorse Flayer. I finished the Gorse... I don't know. I finished some, I didn't finish others. And all I've got to do to finish them, and that will be another job that I might try and knock out soon, especially before I start doing some battle reports, is try and finish up those guys so that I have more options for the Necrons. I think I've got close to 3,000 points of Necrons painted, so I'm not... It's not like I'm going to be struggling for models. It's just, you know, the more options I've got, the more I can swap things around, and the better it'll be. I do now have even more stuff that I've got. Stuff along the lines of 20 Immortals, 6 Wraith, an extra 40 or 50 Warriors, maybe more. Then there's some old school Warriors, some characters, more Scorpec Destroyers, the Hexmark Destroyer. He's going to be a fun one to paint with these however many pistols. I just realised I forgot to do the guns on the front of that last bike. Right, I can, once I finish this one, I can quickly grab it again and fix it. Doesn't matter if I get anything on the cabling. Because the cabling will get repaint it anyway. If you're wondering what that's for, these flight stands have a little nub on the bottom of them. So what I've done is because it's not very stable just sitting on the base on its own if you cut it flush, I drilled a hole in the base, stuck an icy pole stick on the bottom so it's glued at the bottom and the sides, just to give it a bit more purchase into the base. It's going to be annoying when I come to do the basing materials, trying to work around it, but it's, yeah, gives it a much more stable base. I'll take my hand off there. Issues with my body cooperating. Well, Mrs. is trying to call me. I will be just 1 minute. Sorry about that. Yep. Double check my audio again. Yep, it's working. Cool. She was calling to let me know that she picked up the glasses for one of the kids. Took him to the optometrist over the holidays, and he needs glasses for reading. She kind of thought I was streaming. Tells you how long I haven't been streaming for, because normally she's really good with that sort of stuff. Some of these details would have been so much easier to paint if I had a thought about sub-assemblies. When I was painting, all I could think was I've got to leave the heads off so I can paint them all separately. I didn't think about how I'm going to get to areas like the handlebars or the chest. At this rate, I don't know how many guys I'm actually going to get through. But whatever I don't finish on stream now, like I'll probably have to do the second coat off screen tonight. You're the one I didn't paint the guns on. As long as I can get all of the base colours put down. If I'd run out of time to do all the extra detail stuff, which given it's just such a small army I shouldn't, at least I'll be happy enough that I get, you know, minimum paint score. And the army will look good. sitting across the table, even if it's not perfect when you're right up close. Some of the custodian guards I also forgot to put the misericordias on, so I had to glue them on last night. I don't know why on earth I didn't put misericordias on them when I was building them, but thankfully I still have all the sprues laying around, so it wasn't a big problem to fix. It was just a little bit of super glue. Nearly out of the black on the palette. One of the annoying things about evaporative air conditioning is the paint on the pellet just keeps absorbing more and more water until it becomes unusable. But on the flip side, if I go outside and paint in the garage, it's going to dry out too fast. I've got an evaporative cooler in there as well, like a little one, but it's not going to put out the sort of liquid that will mess the paints. Do my best to get under there. There too. Little brush again for the chest. I don't know why I selected that one pipe to be black. I've got a little brush out, I might as well get that on there. Back to the big brush. Oh, and yeah, these guys actually have areas where I can there's joints in the armor, so I'll have to make sure I get them because it's the back of the legs and under his bum. Yeah, the amount of moisture this evaporative air conditioner can put out is kind of crazy sometimes. End up with a pool of water on the floor because it just can't evaporate fast enough. just into there. There and there. There. Alright, now. Good. Don't fall over. Quickly back to this one to do the same thing. And I didn't paint the front of the gun. Yeah. Next dude. Let's see a little bit, even a bit more of the joints in that side. Can't see much there. Chest pipe. You can actually see the joint there. And back to the bigger brush. It's very monotonous. Like, I bought this army off on a whim because I'd bought a combat patrol just so I could get the Sisters of Silence for a decent price, but I'd planned to get rid of everything else. Same as I picked up Shadow Throne at one point just because it was a nice easy way to get Sisters of Silence and then sell off the other stuff. But then I decided that since the combat patrol was so cheap and it gives you so many points, and I already have like 90 Sisters of Silence, or at the time I had about 75 or 80 Sisters of Silence. Well, you know what, I could add some Custodians to my force. And that is a very slippery slope when you're buying anything for an army. Especially when you're buying almost allies for an army. Because you go from, yeah, I could put some Custodian Guard in, you know, maybe a squad of Wardens or Terminators to give me some melee anti-tank, to, I'm just going to build an entire army now. Thankfully, because Custodians are worth so many points, it's not a huge financial outlay to buy an entire 2,000 point army. But it's still, at some point you've got to go through and assemble it all, paint it all. Stick with the big brush and work on the weapon first. It took me days and days to come up with. Well, actually, I think by the time I end up ordering the paints that I used, because I'd messed around with paints, I think it nearly took 2 weeks to come up with the colour scheme. It was do a test model, strip the models, I don't like them. Do some test models, strip them because I don't like them. So that ate up a lot of time and a lot of my excitement for the army. I think I nearly done enough test models that if I had a paint scheme straight off, I'd have finished painting the army within a week. Having said that, I only own like 40 models for the custody, so. Painting 40 models in a week is still a good effort, no matter who you are. closing in on halfway. Two of them got really 2 squads done with their first coat. This is the last guy for one of the squads. The highlighting of the armour is going to be really quick. I'm not doing precise edge highlighting on most parts, and the parts that I am doing edge highlighting on are stuff like the tops of the shoulder pauldrons, so it's going to be already pretty defined detail, so it won't take a heck of a lot. There goes my phone. Next squad. So of the 3 units of custodian guard that I'm going to be using, I've got 2 units of spears and 1 unit of shields and swords. I don't even really need to change brushes on this one, because it's such a small area. That might save a couple of precious seconds. Enough to make it worthwhile. The parts on their weapons that would be gold, I'm going to go for the traditional Retributor armor colour. Just so there's more variations in what's on the model. It's nice if you're not using the same grey, the same gold, the same everything. And sure, all of the models will have the same colours on them, but it'll help you see more of the details that are on the model. And this is the sort of stuff I used to do when I was working at hobby store. Well, a game store, not just a hobby store, but I'd sit down and, while I had no customers, I'd just have a palette set up with some models and go through and see how much I could smash through in a day. Painted it in the Marines half of Dark Imperium in an afternoon for the store army. It wasn't, top quality job, but it was painted enough that I could use them for demo games, and that was more important at the time. That's already half a squad done. Try and extract a little bit more paint out of this pot before it goes in the bin. It's just enough that it keeps collecting on the lid every time I shake it. can't see the chest at all there, so I'm not going to even bother. You can really tell, like, when I start with fresh paint on the pellet again, because it hasn't had a chance to thin out too much from the weather, or the humidity I should say, that it covers a lot better to start with. The combination of water soaking through the wet pellet and then the humidity coming in from the air. I'm rushing, I'm forgetting to talk now. Still one of the things I'm trying to learn with live streaming. I can't have any point where I'm not talking. Or at least no long breaks where I'm not talking. And learning to fill that space is somewhat difficult. It's a lot easier when I do game streams, because at least when I'm doing game streams, things tend to change enough that I can try and remember to talk. I'm going to do this now, and I'm going to do this now, and oh, that didn't work out well. I suppose not working out well is kind of my entire thing with painting, but yeah, while I'm thinking of blacks, since I finished that second squad, Valerian needs some black pipe. On both sides. And the tubing on the back of the owl. So it's a little bit tight in there, but it'll be fine. Hey up. You know sneaking doesn't help when there's a giant camera, right?
Just trying to be considerate. Jesus.
You can't sneak in when there's a camera pointed right at you.
How do you be considerate these days?
Oh, I picked him up to try and do the piping on his the joints of his armor. It's all covered. How about this guy? He's still got one joint you can see. Yep, another one there. I'm considering, with this guy, doing the wings, because they're normally just painted as pure gold. I'm thinking of doing the wings white, with Nylak oxide as a wash. I couldn't think of the name, I had to pick up the paint. or maybe even like Pilar Glacier or something. Just a faint wash. I'm going to get all 4 of these guys. I'm going to quickly do the armor joints in one pass on each of them. Well, not one pass, but like before I put down the brush, I'll do all the armor joints. That might. It's all about finding those little efficiencies. If I do this, I can save 5 seconds. If I save 5 seconds often enough, I save a minute. If I save enough minutes, I can save an hour. If I start painting 3 weeks earlier, I don't need to save as many hours. Wait, that's all 4 of them already? Yeah. Right. Spears. Oh, hang on. Chest. Mrs. is finally pulling down the Christmas tree. That's what all the grunting is in the background. Right. Then to the big brush. I haven't actually looked either. Yep, they have the same pipes on the front. How are we at? Yep, going well. I think we might actually get through the first coat of black. And then after it's all dry, because it's going to take forever to dry with the humidity, after it's all dry, later tonight, I can come back and do a second coat. And then I'll be ready to do another colour on a different day. And if I do some work tomorrow, I might be able to knock out some of the other colours. Maybe I'll go through and finish adding all the colours to the spears, since there's not much more to add after. Right, I say add all the other colours to the spears. I'm not going to be doing the blending because that's going to take me ages. But block out all of the other base colours on the spears. I don't know how I'm going to manage to try and get through the blending in time. Last time I'd done one, I spent about an hour and still wasn't quite happy. So I'm hoping as I practice more, I will pick up, like I said, pick up those extra seconds, pick up those extra minutes. And at worst case, I will pick up an airbrush and I'll do it like that. But that would be, it would be a lot quicker to use the airbrush, but that will not improve my skills at doing blending. And I really want to improve my skills at doing the blending. It's one of the ways I talked myself into doing this army, is that I was going to work on improving my skills doing faces and blending. What was that blip? My screen blipped. I thought it was glitching out on me. I actually got a fair bit of stuff done today when you consider I've put in a fair bit of time today, I should say. I haven't got, depending on who you ask, I've done a lot of painting. That's a very subjective sort of thing. Because when I see people spending 40 hours on a model, I'm thinking, at what point do you just give up? And I spend an hour on a model and I'm thinking, I should have been done by now. Because I'm impatient like that.
Starting cranking.
Last one for this squad. And that just leaves the Terminators and the Praetor, the Vexillus. Time's looking good. Still got to pack betas for the boys. I sorted them out earlier and forgot to put them in the bag.
Aaron, where are the girls' babies?
Already in the bag.
What bag?
In our room.
Oh, okay, because the boys' ones are right there.
Yeah, I was just saying I forgot to put them in the bag. That's why you should always finish whatever job you're doing before you can move on to the next one. You just leave everyone confused. Alright, that's those 4 done. Move them across back over here. And that leaves these 4 models left. There's what? 10 minutes left to go. Can I get it done? These ones have their wrist gauntlets, so that's going to be, yeah. Right. There's a piece there. That's done. Black there. Remind myself to hold in frame. Black there. Don't think there's any more small brush stuff to do there. Alright. In that arm, I'm going to do here with the small brush, with his grenade launcher. There's actually a little spot in there too. And this is just going to leave the spears and axes after I can get this done. And you know, I checked just before to make sure that these guys had the pipe, and then I completely ignored painting it when I pick them up. Alright, next dude. And he has the tiny little bit of black there that you can see. And I'll say this as many times as it comes to mind. I'm not drilling the barrels of the grenade launchers, I'm not drilling the barrels of anything. I hate drilling barrels. It's just not going to happen. Can't see any of the arm joints there, so that means just the grenade launcher. Swap brushes again, hopefully for the last time.
I'm going to take off at 10 too.
Yeah, I'm finishing up shortly. She tries to be quiet. I don't know how much comes through on stream because I know the microphone on the camera can be really sensitive, so I don't know if it picks up her whispering. I don't know, watching back a few minutes of yesterday's stream, just check the audio, and I know the air conditioner comes through if you turn it up, but it's kind of unavoidable because it's either have the air conditioner on or deal with stupid hot Australian temperatures. And with animals and stuff in the house, I don't want to have any of them getting upset that they're too hot. Also, I don't think it'd be a very nice stream if I'm sitting here having to wipe sweat off me every couple of seconds. That'd probably be a bit of a damper on how long I can, or how much work I can get done. But just put a little bit of black on that flag, I think. Home stretch. Two more to go. Oh yeah, no real black spots on there. Alright. It's very chaotic trying to do all this in the time I've got. Part of the reason I'm streaming, because it makes me feel like I've actually got to get work done. It doesn't matter if anyone's actually watching the stream or not, I just feel like I've got to get stuff done. I've got to talk and I've got to actually be productive. I think I just said the same thing 5 times in 3 different ways. You get what I mean? Last one. And that's good because I'm almost out of black paint on the palette. I do love the look of these axes, and I'm really happy that I went with the Warden kit for doing the Praetor and the Captain. I do have another shield captain there who is not from the Warden kit that I picked up second hand off a mate. He does still have a cape though, so I can still do cloth on him. He's just one of the captains from the that you can build from the Custodian Guard kit. Just tidy up a little bit there. Make sure we've got around all of the sides. And brushes down. Huh. That feels like an exercise and a half. But yeah, so that's actually a lot of work done. So it's first layer of black down on everything, everything that needs black. I can go through tonight after the kids are in bed, work through it again, and next stream I'll start on a different colour. There's going to be a couple of spots where I'm going to have to touch up gold. That's fine, I'll do that in the same stages that I'm actually highlighting gold. But yeah, time to go ready, pick up the kids and take them swimming. Have a good one.